Hello, greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet, and today we are going to be talking about community responsiveness. Now, over the last 6 years, I have made a ludicrous amount of content for act.tv. More than 350 videos here in this series, tens of thousands of hours of produced video content, and yes, quite literally, more than 100,000 memes. I am a content machine. However, I do try to make my content poignant, and more importantly, I actually go back to where the content resides, and I look at comments, and I listen to people. I get messages and emails all the time, and I actually communicate with people who go out of their way to ask me questions or wonder why things are the way they are, ask for a clarifying point. I even take criticism of just how bad I can be at my job at times. It's part of what we do. If you're going to sit up here and you're going to talk for a living, then you should be willing to explain to people why you're saying the things you do. Now, yesterday, after I made the video about the Texas debacle with the abortion bill, somebody in the comment section said, "Hey, James, listen, I've been watching you for a while now, and it seems to me that you don't like Democrats and you don't like Republicans, so why the hell do you cover electoral politics?" To which roughly my answer is that even if I don't care about electoral politics, or I don't care about the players in electoral politics, or I have very little faith left in the electoral process as it relates to being a voice for the actual people that politicians supposedly represent, well, unfortunately, with the stroke of a pen and a single bill being passed on any given day, those people in government, those people in Washington, they have the ability to immediately change the material conditions of members of the working class for the better or the worse, like that. So even though this is not my favorite thing, it's incumbent upon me to watch it and to know about it, so I can tell you, the viewer, what to watch out for. I try to let you know when the train is coming down the tracks before the impact happens. And so to that point, I would like to cover a little something today because it is something that I have been talking about for the better part of 9 months, and I don't know how many people listened or not, but lo and behold, one of those things I told you that was going to happen, it's happening. Let's take a look. Here we go! Arapahoe County, Colorado GOP official has promoted QAnon for years. What? That might seem kind of shocking. However, if you've been paying attention to literally anything I've been talking about for the last 9 months, you will know that since the election, I've been informing you that none of these people who were the most vehement supporters of Donald Trump, the Christian evangelicals, the conspiracy theorists, the MAGA ride or die people, that none of them were just going to go gently into that good night. They were going to seep back into the local environment, and they were going to try to take hold of seats of power so that they could continue to push their theories and their ideologies, even though their great, bloated red leader has now passed into retirement into Florida, as most elderly statesmen do. I warned you that the easiest seats for these people to find and take would be local school boards, city councils, and county boards, because these have no barrier to entry other than needing to be a resident and having enough friends in the local area to help you hang up posters that you can get a few hundred votes and win that seat of power. And with something as simple as getting on your local school board, you now get to decide the entire vision and direction of an entire local school district. You get to determine what teaching plans that are submitted by teachers are valid. You get to decide what books are in the library. You get to decide what textbooks are being given out to kids. You quite literally get to decide how children are indoctrinated by something as simple as spending like $800 and getting elected to your local school board. So this is a cautionary tale about the cautionary tale I've been telling y'all about since November of last year. On January 19th, the evening before Inauguration Day, Shumi Navarro, who is running for Cherry Creek School Board and was recently elected secretary of the Arapahoe County Republican Party, recorded a video in which she promised her followers that the inevitable wouldn't happen. Quote, "I want you to know that Joe Biden, president-elect, is not going to become the president. This has been an ongoing coup that's been perpetrated by China. Everything. I'm talking about the virus. I'm talking about the lockdowns. All of it. It's all just a giant conspiracy." That's right. That's Ms. Navarro, who already holds a county commissioner seat and is now running to be on the local school board to decide what thousands of children will and will not be allowed to read and learn. Quote, "I've just been watchful, and this has been the craziest ride I've ever been on. After that stuff happened, that's when I fell on the QAnon stuff, and that's been given such a bad rep. And I say that, and I feel people, ooh, don't say that. I feel people say that, don't mention the QAnon, because you know what people say about the QAnoners. Shh, you don't want people to know about that. Yet there's good reason people tell you to not go out loud and talk QAnon stuff, because most people understand that it is somewhere between a conspiracy and a psyop, and the creator who made it has already been outed, and all the ways that they distributed and disseminated information to all their followers, all of that has been documented. Yes, it was a giant conspiracy. It was a psyop. It was designed to take a whole bunch of people and make them believe things that don't exist. This is a proven fact. It is not up for debate. You want to know what? You also have people who are like, I believe in science. Okay, well, have you heard of the scientific method? Yes, actually, Ms. Navarro, I have heard of the scientific method. I'm married to a scientist. She reminds me about it on a damn near daily basis. It's a thing. What you do is you have a hypothesis or a theory. You state the theory, and then you find facts that prove or disprove the theory. Whoa, no. That's not the scientific method. That's how people who have crackpot ideas troll around on YouTube for 90 hours until they find one other person who agrees with them, and then they go, look, it's the truth. Yeah, that's called seeking confirmation bias. That's not the scientific method. The scientific method has nothing to do with stating a theory and then finding facts. What you do is you collect data, you do tests, and then you see if those tests bear out your theory. You don't just look for 6 other people who have the same opinion as you and then go, look, it's science, because that's not how science works. That's how conspiracy theories work. Navarro's research led her to QAnon, a web of pro-Trump conspiracy theories based around the foundational belief that a secret cabal of Democrats and Hollywood elites, the Jews, are trafficking children to rape and or eat them, and that these activities are protected by legions of bureaucrats and corporations. Notice how none of the QAnon conspiracy theory contained anybody who was either A, Catholic, or B, a Republican. You know, I would have to assume that if there is a secret cabal of people out there who are eating babies, they're probably, like, not ideologically motivated. I think kind of the whole eating babies thing would kind of be all of their primary focuses. But as I don't belong to a cabal of people who eat babies, I can only hypothesize. Also, nobody is in a cabal that eats babies. Navarro's devotion to QAnon led her to bring a handmade red Q sign when she and a friend attended President Trump's Colorado Springs campaign rally in February of 2020. In a TikTok video posted later that day, Navarro documented her creation and display of the sign at the event, both outside and from her seats behind Trump's podium. The video features a screen capture from the event's live stream, proving that the Q sign was visible to everybody who viewed the event online. The soundtrack to the video is a song titled Don't Be Suspicious. It turns out that Ms. Navarro was also in D.C. at the Capitol on January 6th, during the insurrection. And of course, what do you do when you're at an insurrection? You post on social media, because that's totally what you do. The text of her social media post read, Please note the mass amount of people who are rejecting certain protesters' actions. The crowd pointing out Antifa and rejecting their actions will never be reported in the mainstream news. A voice, presumably hers, shouts Antifa! Antifa! At a man in a red hat who is attempting to break a window before saying, quote, "People need to know it's not us," before cheering as the man's dragged away from the window by another protester. That's right. She's fully convinced that all the people who went into the Capitol building were members of the dreaded Antifa, not patriots or members of the 3%ers or the Oath Keepers, people who have already admitted to being there and trying to do insurrection-y things. No, she's convinced it's the Antifas. Also, she wants to be the one who gets to decide what your kids can and cannot read or be taught in school for the first 15 to 17 years of their life. 2 days later, on January 8th, Navarro was back in Colorado attending an all-day class as a member of the leadership program of the Rockies class of 2021. LPR is Colorado's most established conservative political training academy. Many of Navarro's pro-QAnon social media posts were and are public. She posted one openly pro-Q TikTok video on August 19th of last year, nearly 2 months before her first LPR class. So to confirm, she is a full QAnon conspiracy theorist. She has made Q paraphernalia, carried it and chanted about Q at Trump rallies, went to the January 6th insurrection, screamed that everybody else there was a member of Antifa, and then got happily accepted into the leadership program of the Rockies, which leads me to believe that the leadership program of the Rockies looks for people like Miss Navarro and takes the turd and spit shines it and polishes it into somebody that can win an election. Classmate Jacqueline Anderson is a big lie election conspiracy theorist who also serves as first vice chair of the Mesa County GOP. 2018 alumni Vanessa DeMott expressed her support of the QAnon Wayfair furniture conspiracy during her failed 2020 State House campaign. The chair of the Colorado Republicans, Christy Brown, is a member of the 2020 LPR class and has repeatedly cast doubt on the validity of last year's election. 2019 graduate Danny Moore, who now serves on the LPR board, was forced to step down as chair of Colorado's Independent Congressional Redistricting Committee over his numerous election fraud conspiracy posts. By January 10th, Navarro appears to have reconsidered her earlier objection to violent protest, punctuating a Facebook post about the upcoming inauguration with several threatening hashtags, including hashtag insurrection, hashtag hunting season, and hashtag warm up the gallows. Just 1 month later, the Arapahoe County Republicans chose Navarro over 2 other candidates to be their party's secretary, one of only 3 county officials. So what does this mean for you, the average viewer, at home? Well, to start with, it means you're obviously not fucking listening to me when I tell you stuff, because these chuckle fucks, they're now crawling through all of your local governments. They're getting to decide what businesses get fucking given permits and are allowed to open. They decide what your kids get to read for 15 years. For all you know, half these fucking people are like the mayor from Footloose, and they're gonna ban dancing in your town. And you know what the worst part is? Most of you don't know. Now I get that there's a pandemic going on, and maybe we're not all doing our due diligence and being good neighbors and being members of communities because it's not safe to leave the house without a goddamn mask and go congregate with thousands of other people in a town hall or a VFW or some bullshit like that. I get it, but guess what? While you're not digitally organizing in your community, these people are, and they even have tools and academies in place to find people that they can train to take over these positions in your town. So for the love of God, people, pay attention. This isn't even federal shit going on in DC. This is stuff going on in your community, in your neighborhood. at your local school board, in your local county commissioner hearing. All of these are open to the public. Any of these positions can be applied for, and all of these meetings you can attend. Please, people, I cannot tell you enough that this shit matters, because all the Navarros of today winning local seats, getting to determine what your kids get to read and what they don't get to read in your local school, 10 years from now, those people get sponsored by the GOP. Their names are Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's where these people come from. And if you nip that shit in the bud and they don't get seats locally, they don't get to evolve into next tier 5 head shit gibbons like fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. So please, people, keep your eye on the prize. Until next time, my name is James. I'm from the internet and I am out. Peace.